Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talking about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Anthony C, and a pleasant word to come to Focus on Liberia. Yes, this is the hour of politics, and there is indeed a special edition. I have a guest comfortably seated, and he is here to do something to make the case for Alexander Benedict Cummings. As of now, he's in the conversation. He's back in the political actors will say he's back in the narrative. He's back in the game. Serially. Well, Dr. Clarence PEARSON is my guest. And of course, this is the hour of politics. And he's here to make a case for Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. Mr. PEARSON, Dr. PEARSON, good evening. How you doing? How's family? How you feeling?
Mr. C, thank you, man. It's a pleasure being on the show tonight. I feel good. I feel excited that I can be a part of the discussion on issues that are pertaining to Liberia. And you said to make the case for Cummings, but I think I'm here to make the case for Liberian people. President Cummings, in waiting, is the Liberian people option for a better Liberia, and we're here to make that case for Liberian people through Mr. Cummings.
All right. You heard it there. He's yet to make the case, not only for Mr. Cummings, but for the Liberian people through Mr. Cummings. Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Hour of Politics here at Focus on Liberia, where we elevate voices, challenge ideas, and honor the civic pulse of our nation. I am your host, Anthony C, and today we welcome a distinguished guest, Dr. Clarance PEARSON, a seasoned advocate and supporter of Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. As Liberia stands at a crossroad of reform and the search for bold and visionary leadership, we ask, what kind of leadership will shape our future? Dr. Clarence joins us to make the case for Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings, and as he said, to make the case for Liberia. He will be talking about the vision, the values, and the viability of Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. Let us dive in. Dr. Pearson, my first question here is simple. Let's begin with the heart of this conversation. What, in your view, makes Alexander Benedict Cummings the most compelling choice for Liberia's presidency?
Thank you, Mr. C.A. You know, Liberia has to be fixed, and it has to be fixed now. And when you say it has to be fixed now, you're looking at urgency, the urgency of the moment. We are 198 years as an independent country. There's a need for results and not excuses. You know, I don't want as a Liberian, a prominent Liberian son of the soil, when I'm looking for a future in my country today, I'm no longer looking for expectations and promises. I'm looking for proven results. And to get proven results, you must have the individual that has some history of that result.
Okay.
I'm not talking about referring to experience, and the experience has nothing to show for it. I'm talking about someone who has served, not just served before, but in his own public life and private life has served with results. His family life has been transformed by his involvement in his career path, right? His involvement in the corporate world has shown career results to the point where he retired as a millionaire, not from public monies, but from investing his acquired knowledge into an applied knowledge and applied skills that's acquired over the years. And having said that, that's where Liberia is. Our problem in Liberia is not that we don't have the resources. It's not that we don't have the human capacity. It's not that we don't have the opportunities, but we need someone who can translate that into results. And you know, and if you see Mr. Cummings, and you look at his involvement with Coca-Cola, you will notice that his involvement in the regional level of Coca-Cola in Africa left the company with great results in terms of its performance and its outcomes, right? The guy retired from Coca-Cola with honors. He was not a kind that got fired because he didn't produce results. Majority of the time in Liberia, we have politicians who have been given the opportunity to lead, whether it's in the House of Representatives or in the Senate, whether it's in the judiciary, or whether it's in the executive branch as the president or appointed position. We find people losing their jobs, being fired for corruption, being dismissed for poor management, and voters reject people over the years after they've tried and test them and see that they have nothing to deliver on. But Cummings are not been given this opportunity, right? So we are hoping that as a result-driven character with a proven track record in the private sector, will bring that same level of experience on the job and to translate our opportunities into results. And I think Mr. Cummings stands in that position with that capacity to do the same that he's done in the private sector.
And Clarence, the issue some people have been raising is that Cummings was given an opportunity in Liberia as a political leader. He is and has been a political leader of a political institution. And he has been in the competition to attract more Liberians to this political institution and translate that number of people into votes and then to win national offices. And they have not seen that. And 2 election cycles passed now. So people are saying, well, it said that these skills, their corporate credentials that he has, it said that they're not good enough. Are they not transferable, in the political landscape? So I asked this question. Why is Mr. Cummings having a difficult time, his party now, or having success in this political arena?
So there are multiple factors, and this is where I said that we're here to make the case for Liberian people, which will translate to making a case for Mr. Cummings, because You know, when you look at our political landscape, a lot of people overlook this thing. But if you look at our political landscape, for many years now, and since the civil crisis, our politics is based on popularity, right? So if you look at the only person who won an election, I mean, without going to the second round, was Charles Gange Taylor. And we all know Taylor became a household name as a result of the civil crisis. And some experts will say, you know, people have war fatigue. They wanted to get over with the war. And, you know, they don't want to go back to war. So if the presidency is what this guy's going to have to us to get peace, then let us just give it to him, right? And then we find out that Mr. Cummings is not the only one who, with the exception of Charles Taylor, the only one who have tried and not successfully win the presidency. President Barack, who is president today, tried the same thing, and he didn't succeed when he won in 2017, right? After Madam Ellen Johnson had left the scene. We know that Prince Johnson, coming from one of the most populated counties in the Republic of Liberia, with a history of war, a hero caption over him, also went in the elections and did not win. So the elections is pivoting around a popularity of the individual. So again, what is it that we need to do to address this popularity issue? Is to look into the Liberian people's psyche and tell them, listen, popularity is not working for us. The individual may be popular, but that may not translate to the results that we are looking for. So we've tried popularity and it has not worked. Another thing we need to look at is ethnic leaning. So you look at ethnicity, where people say, I'm voting for Boyka because he's my uncle, right? And I'm the nephew. And Prince Johnson go and say, Nima Kaduo. And, you know, he called the Nima votes to order and he becomes a kingmaker where he sends his countrymen there where they will go. But again, we have to take an introspective look at ourselves as Liberians. Look, Mr. C.A., you know, you will not believe this. There are family members and friends who went at each other's neck because of politics in Liberia today. Some people are not speaking to each other. There are people who lost breadwinners on the account of the politics that we play the gone 2023. Today, they are not getting any support or remittances from the family member abroad because they are angry of them for going the direction that they went. So I think it is about time that we realize that our votes have consequences. If we vote on popularity, there will be consequence. If we vote on tribal line and they don't yield results, there will be consequence. The best outcome of our vote should be based on an individual with a track record of results, and he needs to fix this country now, so that when you cast your vote and you turn your back from that polling station, your situation should change, and we'll talk about that later, how it's going to change. Your situation should change so that your family member, your loved ones, and your children and generations to come will hail you for that vote that you cast. Not because of popularity, not because of tribal leaning, but because of the results that you want to see after elections.
And, you know, the challenge now is to win the minds and hearts of his fellow Liberians. And so are you saying that Cummings not being successful yet is not anything he's done wrong or did not do well? It's more so that Liberians have not been looking at him? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
The only thing I see Mr. President Cummings in waiting has done wrong is to love the Liberian people, and they are not reciprocating the love to him. The only thing I see President Cummings in waiting that he has done wrong is to spend his hard-earned money, not from political office or public office, but hard-earned money that his family, his children, his grandchildren should be benefiting from tomorrow, to spend it on Liberians, hoping that it will give them the opportunity to change their lives by investing in them. That's the only thing I see he has done wrong. And when I say he's done wrong, it's not that I'm blaming him for doing it and it is the wrong thing to do, but you know, it is something that if you look back on Mr. Cummings' investment in Liberia by his personal resources and it don't yield results, of course there will be family members and friends who will say about Mr. Cummings, the people did not want you. Why did you force yourself on them? And that's what I want the Liberian people to see, that you know, you don't have to bend your knees to politicians who come to lie to you and give you t-shirts and give you few bags of rice when election is tomorrow and make promises to you that they will not keep. You know, if it costs me to drive a wheelbarrow to the mansion, I will drive wheelbarrow to the mansion, and then we see in $1.2 million vehicle. That's a scam. And we don't want you to say, you know, look at me. I have worked in government 40 years. I have not built no fabulous houses for myself. I'm living a low life, but you've been there 12 years as vice president. And then the people make you president. We see you building villas that people are accusing you that cost about $10 million. And your press secretary cannot even give a clarification as to where the money is coming from. The West African region by the ECOWAS is even denying when your information minister, deputy information minister is saying, oh, the ECOWAS property. The people come and say, no, we have nothing to do with that. Those are scams. You know, so that's the only thing I see Mr. Cummings have done wrong. So I think what Mr. Cummings needs from the Liberian people is for them to do right by him. To say, why is it that this young man has so much that he can live comfortably outside of Liberia, but he still wants to come and help his people? Mr. Cummings is the only politician in Liberia, and I will say this with clarity of conscience. He's the only politician in Liberia that continue to invest his capital into Liberian politics from his own wealth that is not linked to public money, and still continue to do so even though the Liberian people have not reciprocated that love back to him. And so I think going to 2029, let us wake up. Let us change our minds and change our hearts towards this young man, and let us give him the chance as the only individual today who suits the condition that Liberia has. Liberia does not need a football player because we're not looking to score goals. Liberia does not need 40 years experience for somebody who they work with agricultural ministry but have not translated that into Liberia that can feed itself. Liberia does not need individuals who claim to have Liberia at heart, but you cannot see how much that has translated into change in the country. We need somebody with the proven track record who can say, I have done this before. I have led corporate institutions. I know what it is to do business with results and profit, and I can make Liberia profitable for all Liberians. And that's what we are missing right now, and Liberian people need to wake up. That's the only wrong Mr. Cummings has done, to love Liberia so much, and he has not been loved back in return.
Dr. Clarence Pearson is here making a case to the Liberian people, for the Liberian people, and directing them in Mr. Cummings' direction to pull it right, and he thinks that Cummings is the way to go. So Cummings is often described as a technocrat with their corporate discipline. How do you believe his leadership style will translate and fit in governance, especially a country that is, you know, especially in a country with deep social and political complexities? I mean, you saw an example with the CPP, and that was painful to watch, and he didn't have success. You know, how can he do it?
So, you know, one of the good things I love about public, not public, but corporate corporations, when shareholders and who are ordinary people who get the money, when they invest the money, Anthony,
Yeah.
they want to see results, and they want to see return on investment, right?
Yeah.
When shareholders and investors put their money in your company, and they do not get return on their investment, then they don't trust you. They kick you out, right? Mr. Cummings have thrived. He has been successful in an environment where people with big money, like Brent man said, big money, trusted him with their big money. And those big monies are not given to you like our Liberian politicians will be. You get them in the office, and then they start squandering it. President Parker said they squander resources for 12 years, and they start squandering it, and then you come back and get a higher position. For you to get promoted in corporate institutions and go to the top and be successful there, Anthony, you have to have the bandwidth, the intellectual bandwidth, the leadership bandwidth, the management bandwidth to curb waste in investment, to curb any out of malfeasance and corruption in investment, and to direct investment in a way that it yields results. And that's what I keep emphasizing, that word results. So this is why coming is relevant. In big corporations, they make plans, right? And those strategic plans have indicators that you must track to success. And not only that you have to have a plan, you must be able to control that plan so that that plan has a structure for people who are able to manage that plan and yield results. So you have the plan to manage in terms of indicators driven leadership, and you have people to manage to yield that results based on what the plan is requiring. You have to have the capacity to understand the trajectory of your budget. Where is it headed to? Are you achieving your goal? What is it that you set as your target to achieve? Are you achieving those targets? Man, this young Liberian professional, President Cummings in waiting, was able to do that. And you can go back, Liberian people, look, let us go back and look at this man. Let us go, like America, a corporate institution like Coca-Cola that is diverse and big and international, is global. There is no way.
Maybe the Liberian people want to see that happening in Liberia and they are not seeing it. Could that be a problem?
You see, again, that is the rhetoric people bring to Liberian politics. And Liberian people, listen to this. If you complain, say that the man can beat country drum, you cannot say the man does not have the skill until you get in the drum to beat. Right? Until you get a man a drum to beat, you can't say the man can beat the drum. And somebody will say, but that man be playing cop in the meantime. The man has played a lot of cops around you that you have seen. The man has managed major corporations, even besides Coca-Cola company. He's managed major institutions. There is not one corruption claim against this young man. There is not one malfeasance and mismanagement of resources against this young man. There is no filing or bankruptcy of any companies that he has managed. Bankruptcy in Liberia. For man, what I have to understand, when they say bankruptcy, you get a man your market, say, can't do my business for me. Then a man come and say, oh, the business breakdown, let go report to the government, say the business breakdown, he got money to support itself. Let government help us to take it our worker then, and then we say break the business down and we go by our business. We able to manage it no more. The man has never done that. Everything that Mr. Cummings, President Cummings, in waiting has hindered professionally, has been successful. So this is what I would say, Mr. Anthony. President Cummings cannot be written off as having proven himself in the political arena in Liberia until he has given the chance. He has been given the chance to try it out. President Barker made the same argument, right? President Barker said, we argue with President Barker, said, oh, you were here for 12 years as vice president. You didn't do anything good. You didn't do anything. You were saying that all the bogus contracts were signed by you, concessions were signed by you up there. All the budget, the part that did not develop Liberia, you signed it up there as well as the president of the Liberian Senate. But what President Barker said? President Barker said, my people, I was not the president. And you all know that the president power is very big. When the president wants it to be done, it will not be done in the country. And more besides, President Barker said this, and I got him on record. He said, I was a parked car in the garage. So you can't expect anything to have come out of me at that time. He said, give me the wheel. When you give me the wheel, then I will demonstrate how the car can run. As far as I'm concerned, since we put that race car on the road, that race car does not have any engine. That race car does not have any engine. And what we're saying here about Mr. Cummings now is that to do this young man justice, give him the opportunity to prove himself. And don't wait to see how he performed to judge his output. Look at what he has already achieved as his output. Then you can measure that to what you are hoping to see.
And Clarence, maybe the Liberian people want to, evaluate Mr. Cummings from what he's done in Liberia, and that what he did in the corporate world outside of Liberia, maybe they can relate to it. They want to see something he's done in Liberia that is seen with their own eyes. Then they say, okay, maybe this thing they've been saying about this man is true. Could it be another factor?
Yeah, no. I think that factor would just be another political propaganda. Let me clarify a few things. Mm-hmm. When President Doe became president, he was never a president before, right? So nobody knew what Doe could do. But a lot of time I hear people say
They
Doe was one of
knew
the,
him as a master sergeant.
yeah, a lot of people say, oh, Doe was a very good president. I hear people say that based on his output. Okay, despite his excesses. I must state that also. Nobody saw President Taylor as president before he became president. President Taylor was hanging around there shooting guns. In fact, people consider him to be war criminal. But then when he took the presidency, Liberian people said they love him. I don't know why they love him. Again, he came with excesses. But Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did not run Liberia for us to be confident in her. She came with the same outside experience from World Bank and other places. The Liberian people trusted her. President Bokar too came and said, "I'll pack race car. I didn't have a chance to show myself. Maybe president, I will show myself." So it's a matter of trust. And I think this is what the Liberian people need to trust Mr. Cummings with this job. And I think they got more to trust Mr. Cummings on than they have on any other person in the past. Because this guy, and I would say the President Cummings in waiting, cannot be connected to any foul play outside of Liberia. So let's see how the propaganda will go this 2029 campaign period. And then we can dispel some of these lies and misconception about what Cummings can do and not do for Liberia.
If you are just joining us, this is the Hour of Politics here at Focus on Liberia. Here at Focus on Liberia, we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We are in conversation with CLARANCE, PEARSON. He's his Focus on Liberia, new progressive commentator. He's an author, but he's here in the capacity as a Cummings supporter. According to him, he has to make the case for Liberia through Alexander Bernadette Cummings. Dr. Pearson, let's talk about youth and national development. You know, I continue to make the case that, look, the most important resource that we have in our country, that's our youth population. If we're looking at diamond, we miss it. If we're looking at gold, we miss it. We're looking at any other thing, we miss it. We have to look at the people. So I asked the question. Youth empowerment is a cornerstone to national development and nation building. What specific policies or commitment has Cummings articulated that speak directly to Liberian young population for which he should be considered as the president in waiting, as you put in it?
So President Cummings in waiting is not a stranger to Liberia. You know, a lot of people think that President Cummings in waiting is a stranger. President Cummings in waiting is not a stranger to Liberia. President Cummings has identified with Liberians even during the time of the civil crisis. He has. It's just that people, you know, our Liberian people are easily persuaded when it comes to negative propaganda. In addition to that, President Cummings in waiting is also investing in our youth as we speak. He has a technical vocational training program going on in Liberia right now as I speak. President Cummings in waiting also have other investment in Liberia that he cannot say out publicly. And you, Mr. Anthony, say you know well, and I know that sometimes for political reasons you get targeted, and your investment get targeted by individuals for political reasons. So there are some things he cannot say out loud for political reasons. But there are people who are aware that President Cummings in waiting does have a vocational training program in Liberia that he's piloting. When I say piloting, it means he's testing it out so to see if this can be a viable option for expansion if it's given chance to govern. Right? In developed world, they say you are what I say, trying it out to see if you can get it done tomorrow, if it's going to be a good case scenario. But I talk about the youth. There is no one that I see that is passionate about young people compared to President Alexander Cummings in waiting. And let me tell you why. President Cummings in waiting is this young man who is down to earth. Somebody will say he's a millionaire, but yet instead it is the one young man that you see him when he gets in the community. Anthony, he shoulder to shoulder with the young people. A lot of people don't notice that, but that's Cummings as well. Besides that, Mr. Cummings understands what it means to come from a depraved family background, to be a young man who comes from a less fortunate, not 100% to say like poor boy, but from a background that is not a rich background, but able to thrive as an individual and find success. This is how I think it's going to work with President Cummings in waiting when he becomes president for the young people. President Cummings understands that the nation cannot change its path to progress outside of economic benefits. If the economy does not change, the lives of the people will not change. And for the economy to change, President Cummings understands very well that the youth must be capacitated and that their involvement in the economy of our country must be vibrant, whether it's through internship support, whether it's through trade, and in fact, he called it two-track education program. If somebody going to high school, they must come outside with something on a trade. That's how he put it. And not only that, if you can make it academically, you can make it technically. That's his mindset. Mr. Cummings, President Cummings in waiting understand how technology plays a role in the development of the current educational sector that we have, right? So this young man who has gone out there and has seen what value is in the young people in their own economy is going to come to translate that knowledge through his experience on the job and get young people in the economy active with private sector jobs, not depending on appointment positions alone, but corporate, private job, public, private investments. Those are things that we need to change Liberia's trajectory for the youth. They have to have opportunities. And President Cummings is able to deliver that.
So we are talking about plans and at the same time winning, because you must find a way to win, even if you have these skills, the know-how to improve the economy. Your challenge now is, how do you win? And to win, you must have a way of communicating to the people politically. You are aware, and like I know, and you will argue, Mr. Cummings, on the humanitarian side, making contribution to Liberia, he has done tremendously well in contributing to Liberia. I have even I've said it many times that Mr. Cummings has contributed humanitarianly to Liberia than any other person who have ever run for president in Liberia. No one comes close to him. In fact, if you put all those that have presidential ambition together right now, Cummings' contribution he has made must surpass all of them combined. That is a fact that I know. But here's the problem. How many Liberians know that? So that brings me to my question. The political party that he's heading, he's a corporate guy. Every public corporate institution, it has a department for communication. Then there's something called public relations. So he's running a political entity that has not been able to market him for all Liberians to know what he has done, because it's obvious that Liberians voting for somebody is on the basis of what has he done. They always ask that question. I mean, as unfortunate as it is, that is the reality, and it's a challenge. So I don't see how Mr. Cummings has provided political leadership through the institution called ANC to make the Liberian people to know this man we're talking about, this is what he has done. I'm not sure they have done that. What do you say to that?
You know, I've heard that argument before, and I would default with a lot of people, even with some people in AMC, I would default with them that there has not been enough message to sell Cummings. I don't think that's the case. You know, let me say this, and maybe some of the viewers will be hearing this for the first time. In Liberia, what sell Kennedy is negative propaganda, bad propaganda, lies, and tall tales. Majority of what you hear about people in Liberian politics during campaign time are manufactured lies, either to make the candidate look good or to make the opponent look bad. So what I think President Cummings in waiting needs is not that he doesn't have a good communication machinery, but what I think he needs is a way to educate the population to an extent that they are able to understand and debunk the lies, right? There's a program in Liberia that I hear, they call them the fast checkers, right? Fast checker. I've heard them on OKFM, other thing. Where when you go and say something on the radio, they come and do fact checking. I'm very proud about that program. And I think we need more of that. And I think if Mr. Cummings, President Cummings in waiting his machinery, communication machinery, can work with that institution or create their own, but not in a way that is linked to them so that it looks political, but it looks much more neutral for communication and education of the public, that will serve a purpose. Because majority of the things people talk in Liberia when it comes to politics, answering that lie. I've heard on political talk shows where people say, this other man is gay. I heard people accuse Akaras Gay of being gay. He loved to Mr. Weah. I've heard people accuse even Conor Gray on another network say he also is a gay, because people manufacture things about people. People misconstrue things about people, and they sell it to the Liberian people. And for me, the louder the lies are, the more that people buy into it. In psychology, we call it, the more you tell the lie, and the more the person listens to the lie, they start to believe the lie. And that's what happened in Liberia. We need to have a way to debunk some of those lies and call people out for the lies and the liars that they are.
So there where strategy and leadership comes in. Mr. Cummings is not new to this business of politics. He ran 2 times now. And he headed this political party, ANC, now for 2 election cycles. This is the 3rd one we're talking about. And it seems that these lies, as you describing them, still persist. So what is the leadership that will make the truth to filter to the people? And I disagree with you that the political party ANC is a good messenger that is doing a better job. And the good thing is that we have so many platforms now. After the election, they all disappeared for almost 2 years. Why?
So look, we need to face Liberia now. So I'm not particular about 2 years. If you can bear me witness, Anthony, I was one of those who started raising concerns in Liberia from before President Bokar even took seat. I was one of those who called President Bokar out when he traveled all of Liberia when he won the election as president-elect, and I said he should have been there to ensure that the transition process go well. Especially when we have said as opposition that the country was bad, the government was in the toilet, it was a complete mess. So why would he be out when he should be ensuring that there's a strong transitional process? I was one of those who said while he was outside the country, I said, why is he out of the country when he's supposed to be in the country, running the country, even before he takes office as president, making sure that everything is in place to hit the ground running? All of my concerns turned out to be correct. That his being outside impacted his change. Now let's come back to ANC. Look, Anthony, I don't agree with you that that ANC failed in its communication strategy. And as I said, I would disagree with some ANC members on that also. Now, we should understand that it is difficult to sell truth, but it's easy to sell lie. It is difficult to sell truth. It is easy to sell lies. Now, we all understand clearly that the social media played a major role in 2023 elections as compared to 2017. 2017, Mr. Cummings had about 100,000 votes. 2023, he got about 26,000 votes, right? In the first round. And if you look at that, you want to take into consideration the propaganda from Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson was one of those who led a very strong propaganda against Alexander Cummings. That people shouldn't forget that, right? Taking into consideration Butt Naked, and I call him the real name on the show. I won't call him Pastor Milton Bly. I said Butt Naked, right? All right. Take his own propaganda during the campaign that was also aimed against Alexander Cummings when he was promoting JMB, President Boyka. Think about President Boyka himself stabbing Mr. Cummings in the back, right? As a colleague in the opposition, and think about how much that took away from President within Mr. Cummings' campaign. Not only that, think also about the breakup of the CPP and what it took Mr. President Cummings within to re-galvanize CPP within the minimum time to the elections. Then you talk about the fraud that happened in the elections. That's a whole different game altogether, right? Now, I say this to say, when you put all these factors together, it does not prove to me that ANC communication strategy failed. What it proved to me is that the system was overwhelmed, and we have more bad people propagating bad messages and lies than we have good people propagating good messages that the people are supposed to be hearing. And this is where the Liberian people must come in. The Liberian people must refuse the lies. Look, when you have a powerful media like the Spoon Network, almost across the entire country, pivoting towards Joseph Boyka, with Hassan Fatika, with Eugene Vagon, these propagandists that are machinery of lies, right?
And so this might happen again.
It's a problem.
This might happen again. So why would Mr. Cummings, what kind of leadership will he provide? What kind of leadership will come from the ANC? What would be the strategy of the ANC and Mr. Cummings against what is possible to happen again?
So this is what I would say. No, I mean, that's a legitimate question. Now, having pushed back to you very strongly on the fact that I don't want to believe ANC communication machinery failed, but I would say it was overwhelmed. That's my choice of logic, right? It was overwhelmed by the bad propaganda that was in the system. So now your question here is that going forward now, how can we battle that bad propaganda machinery? Well, again, this is what I would say. Now that I push back strong enough, I can say this. There's something called chasm in management and in business. Mr. Cummings, President Cummings, waiting to understand that I will break it down for Liberian people. Chasm talks about continual improvement in any business system. That there's always room for you to reassess and see where you can do, better at, what you can do better at, and improve on it. So, what can we improve upon? I will say this for a fact, that to get Liberia fixed, to see results, we need President Cummings waiting. How do we counter the negative propaganda? President Cummings waiting can agree with me, ANC can agree with me, or they might disagree with me. We need a strong presence in the social media space and in the radio in Liberia. Not many people in the rural area and other places have access to cell phone to be on Facebook, but majority of them listen to radio, right? I would say to ANC, if possible, we should have jingles. Now I'm talking about campaign time. Even now, we should have Cummings programs that he interview that you have, talk show that you have. Anytime you make appearances or policy conversation that you have, we should have those things on tape. We should take it to the rural communities, play on rural radios, right? Not only that, whenever Mr. Cummings speak on issue concerning matters that happen in Liberia, we should make sure that we translate it in local languages. We should have people, and we got these people, right? We got party members who can speak local vernacular. Put Mr. Cummings' message in interpretation in local vernacular. Play across the country on local radio stations, because that's what the people got access to. And again, I will say this. We need our own radio station, right? And somebody will say, but why can't you not just broadcast through other radio stations? Well, other radio stations can relay your message, but you should have a central radio station that you have control over, command and control over, that will tailor your message and sell you as an individual, and sell your message and counter any negative propaganda in there. So this is what I would say to Mr. Cummings. Have a communication strategy that has a radio station in mind. That radio station should have a good rapport with the other radio station to what they call relay your messages when you have them. Not only that, make sure that your messages are reaching the rural communities. Even if it means to put in local languages by interpreters, do so. Don't wait for campaign to start right now. And I will say this: platform like Spoon Network, Focus on Liberia, KMTV, and other network. The closing argument, we should be present on those platforms at all times, promoting the real information that Liberian people need to do the right thing when it comes 2029. Because at the end of the day, trust me, Anthony, it's going to be again lies against truth, and lies are easy to sell.
Well, I hope the folks in the ANC are listening. And I know you said you push back, you disagree with me, but while you submitted, if you say they are overwhelmed, Why would others overwhelm you? Why couldn't it be you to overwhelm them? You know, it appears to me that you are agreeing with me that the team was not strong enough.
So let me clarify that, right? Let me clarify that. So Liberia have what we call plurality of political parties. You know, our political space is full of political parties in presidential campaigns, right? Candidates, right? So ANC against Unity Party, against MDR, against other but let's say 20 different political parties. That's not a small stuff. So I can see why we will be overwhelmed, and that's where our conversation, I guess, in this conversation will go to collaboration and networking, right? Where to minimize that overwhelming force of lies, you have to win a lot of minds and hearts within the political sphere, so that you reduce the number of negative propaganda coming towards you. That's why I frown on ANC members who go into the media. Instead of trying to build bridges with opposition, they want to attack opposition. And my argument to them is simple. So President Barker has a very strong propaganda machine in Unity Party. They have been there for 12 years before, now they're there for another 6 years. These guys are well entrenched. They are entrenched in their ways in the propaganda machinery. Why would you want to ask CDC as another confrontation, propaganda confrontation? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to ask CMC as another confrontation, another front against negative propaganda? You don't want to do that. You want to have minimum level of negative propaganda coming against you into the political bullets. Make them your friends, because at the end of the day, the enemy of my enemy becomes my friend, right? So I collaborate with you for the next 3, 4, 5 years. We lambast, we bombast Unity Party to the point where we break them down. When we're almost to the finish line now, by that time we're having conversation. Do we go alone or do we go as a group? And then we can make that decision there. But it is not feasible to start making too many enemies when you have about 27, 30 political parties in the race, and then you want to be the only ANC guy trying to battle 27 political parties propaganda machinery. It's not going to work. So we should start building fences in opposition for now.
That appears saying Cummings now, this statement that nothing has changed is being attributed to him. That was his assessment of the Barker administration, that nothing significant has changed. And so I want to ask the question on judgment. Mr. Cummings now, the political institution he's heading, what has actually changed with this party? I really want to see it. And let me go further. Mr. Cummings, and you can correct me if I don't have my facts straight, Mr. Cummings was with Good, and the ANC did not win. This gun convention, Mr. Cummings went and endorsed Good, practically campaigned for him. That was his choice of candidate. So, and then you link it to the corporate world. If I put somebody in charge of a business as CEO and the numbers are going down and we experience a huge loss, why will you want to keep such a man? So we're talking about, if you look at the party, why recycle this one chairman over and over who has not delivered any results? Mr. Cummings is always talking about result. Good has not given you any result, but this is the man you bring him back. And then in the very ANC, some people have qualms with those around him that are advising him. During the CPP days, he brought Louis Brown, he brought many other people. I think it was Daniel Che, and Daniel Che, in less than a month, he left. So when it comes to judgment, it's Mr. Cummings, even the whole idea of joining CPP. Some people felt that I was a poor judgment call on Mr. Cummings, because these are people he criticized, he called names, all right, and he was right, but then he went with them. So I think a judgment issue is another problem. What do you think?
So CPP, like you mentioned, was not a failure because of Mr. President Cummings in waiting. If you can recall, CPP was in crisis long before Mr. President Cummings in waiting became the head of CPP with Benin Ayure to begin with, right? And then by the time it got to Mr. Cummings, it was stabilized. It was under Mr. Cummings' leadership, President Cummings' waiting leadership, that CPP produced one of the massive results in by-elections in Liberia for opposition. If you can recall, the likes of Senator Delon, or his ascendancy to the Senate from President Cummings waiting. So let us not forget that. Now, CPP broke down because of the ingratitude of President Boycott, who was not satisfied with the level of popularity that President Cummings waiting was getting from the young people within the CPP, and how he was gravitating towards the convention of the CPP, where they would have decided who would become the political leader of CPP. That's where things started to go wrong, and it was a plot to get rid of him because they couldn't contend with him in the convention that was pending. So we shouldn't go there. CPP was even held up with all of its Rick Monroe, Liberian men will say, ups and downs, as President Cummings waiting show leadership by holding CPP commitment to Liberian people up all the way to elections. Don't forget, Liberian people hope was dashed when CPP was split. In fact, Liberian people were crying why CPP would not stand to make Liberia, give Liberia what Liberia needed. It was Mr. Cummings who kept the promise to Liberian people and kept CPP functional all the way up to elections. So he did us extremely well. He showed leadership. Let's come to ANC leadership. I will not query you, because you are not an ANC member. You don't have the ANC history. But I will remind the listeners that Councillor Gu is the founder of ANC, if you want to put it that way. Councillor Gu, who is the current chairman, is the founder. Lafayette Gu is the founder of ANC. Now, he was the first chairman of ANC. Many people don't know that the votes that President Cummings waiting received from ANC in 2017, which is 112,000 votes, was at the chairmanship of Councillor Gu. It was because of the chairmanship and leadership of Councillor Gu. Councillor Gu did not lead the party to elections in 2023. He was not the chairperson for the party at the time. So Councillor Gu cannot be held liable for the shortfall within the votes for President Cummings waiting from 112,000 to 26,000. No. So I think I heard my political leader, President Alexander Cummings waiting, said, and I like what he said. He said he intentionally went and advocated for individuals he believed can deliver results. Again, because you are looking at past performance. If Councillor Gould delivered, Chairman Gould delivered 12,000 votes from Mr. Cummings and making the 7% that made him popular, then he has something in him that Mr. Cummings believes can still yield results if you work on him and develop what he did to get that result. So that's what you do with Kazim, like I mentioned before, in the business world. So you look at where you look at your cycle of performance, and you see where you made mistake, and you go back and correct and readjust. So I think Councillor Gould has something in him. He has passion for the party as being one of the founding members, and he also has results on his sleeve from the first time he took the party to elections with 100,000 plus votes. And we believe that coming back, that seems zest, that seems zeal, that seems understanding, and that seems political prowess, especially now that he has gotten more experience over the years, will come to play. Hopefully, will come to play. And we believe that will happen.
And looking at the CPP thing, again, I follow the CPP and I cover the politics of the day during that time, and I was right here. The other members of the CPP were not paying their dues. And some people said, Mr. Cummings, we have to leave. We don't have a choice. We don't have options yet. And if you look at the formation of the CPP at the time, Taiwan, who is close to Mr. Cummings, said, look, if the ANC or Mr. Cummings will not accept a vice presidential post, our being here will not be of any help. Because he argued it does not make sense to look at somebody who served as vice president and said they should go for vice president again. It will not serve. More so, this party see itself as bigger than us. So let's lower our expectation and do this. If we can't take it, let's get out. Because the ANC contested in 2017 for the first time when the Cummings were not known. ANC people continue until 18 months to the election. He came and he netted over 100,000 votes. But they couldn't leave. Was that not a poor judgment on the part of Mr. Cummings and the ANC folks? Because the result tells it now. You downgraded from 100,000+ votes to 26,000 votes. Because when you stood alone, you got more votes. But when you tried to go with these people, you didn't succeed. That was poor judgment, isn't it? Or not?
No, I don't consider the poor judgment. Again, the circumstances and the factors around elections change with time. You know, like I mentioned before. Don't forget, in 2017, even Prince Johnson went on the ballot as a presidential candidate. You have Bromskin. So the political playing field was packed, right? And there were more people to distract the voters to the point where everybody were on their own merits. Unlike 2023, we saw President Booker having the full endorsement of Prince Wild Johnson, which is a significant factor. A lot of people don't want to take that into consideration, but it's a significant factor to the whole game. Now, where Appleton came from, some I don't know today. I hear people can be arguing and say, "Oh, you know what happened? President Cummings waiting is not new." Who knew Appleton? Who knew the name Appleton in Monrovia or in Liberia? We only got to know the name Appleton when the commissioner from the election commission started calling a name Appleton. Everybody, what they call Appleton before we start even going to look to see who is this guy, what is the political party name and stuff like that. That whole election is questionable, right? But we will not go there because we want to cry baby stuff, right? But let me stick to what you're saying. Now, Mr. CA, let's get this straight. Mr. Cummings, President Cummings in waiting, did not say at any time he don't want to be vice president to President Joseph Yeman Boyka at the time Kennedy Boyka. And let me clarify this again. All right? Librarian man said, read over again. Right? There was a mechanism in place to ensure that the collaborating political party will follow these directions leading up to who becomes standard bearer and who becomes vice standard bearer. Considering that President Cummings in waiting is a man of principle, all his argument was, gentlemen, let us go by standards and live up to our commitment that we made as leaders. Because if we cannot commit to something and stand by it, then what proof do we have to tell Liberian people that we are credible people? Your credibility is on your word. When you lose your word as an individual, you lose your credibility. And Mr. Cummings was not willing to lose that credibility on his word. He didn't want to be seen as somebody who would say one thing today and then tomorrow he pivot to be seen desperate for power, and then he pivot and circumvent the very protocol he laid out. I don't think the Liberian people will want a president who will tell you, say, this is what I would do. And then when you go back tomorrow, you change everything and start doing something different than President Booker is doing right now. We're coming on a rescue mission. We will audit the government. When you come, no audit is being done. We're prosecuting people for corruption. You say you end up being corrupt. And don't destroy the livelihood of Liberian people. Now everybody in Liberia, all the small businesses, the World Trade Center, the petty trader, everybody crying. I will ride, we better go to work. Everything is a bunch and basket of lie. That's not President Cummings in waiting. No, he only wanted the right protocol to be followed. And I think he said this later on, and he's on record for this. He said this. He said, and if even I will go as vice standard bearer to President Boyka, President Boyka will have to be the one to pick up the phone and call me and say, oh, Mr. Alexander Cummings, you know, I think you have something to offer your Liberian people. You myself have been in opposition. You spend a lot of money promoting myself, who's sitting here, who want to become president. Can you be my vice president? Mr. Cummings said he never got that call. He never got that call. He said, even as they were, when people were making those arguments, President Barker was already pivoting towards what he wanted. I don't blame President Barker. That's politics, right, Mr. C.A.? That's politics. Everybody look for the interest. So if President Barker feels he cannot take President Cummings in waiting as his vice standard bearer outside of the CPP arrangement, it's on him, right? That's his decision. I cannot blame President Cummings in waiting for that decision that President Barker made. But at the same time, I will not blame President Cummings in waiting, for not wanting to break his commitment to a process only to because he wants.
And so, talking about arrangement, so why couldn't Mr. Cummings advocate that, look, the vice president and the president must come from the CPP? But anyway, at the end of the day, everything blew up.
Right.
And so everybody went their individual way. But I think there was the vice president needed to come from the CPP, actually.
But just point of correction. Everything blew up, but everybody did not go their separate ways. The coalition, the CPP, was held. Held up
Unity
by
Party left. That's what happened.
Held up by President Cummings in waiting up to elections, keeping the promise to the Liberian people. That is an important message that Liberian people should hear. Because anybody would have said, like you already said, Mr. C.A., when President Barker didn't destroy CPP, intentionally destroy CPP because of the kind of politics that they play. Mr. Cummings, President Cummings in waiting could have said, CPP image has been damaged. Let me walk away. But no, he is a leader of principle. He said the Liberian people received my promise. I must keep this promise to the Liberian people. This CDC, this CPP that they look up to and to want to see the CPP go to elections. President Cummings in waiting will take CPP to election. If that would be the only thing I would do to keep my promise to the Liberian people, I will do that. And he kept that promise.
That is true. To set the facts straight or the record straight, yes, he stayed in the CPP. He even picked his VP from the very CPP, Charlene Brunson having to be a member of the Liberty Party and the ANC. Even though the Liberty Party split, some went to the Unity Party, and it was their coalition, Unity Party Alliance or something. They went there, but Liberty Party, legally speaking, they argue, has stayed in the CPP, and so Mr. Cummings picked his vice running mate from the CPP at the time. I just wanted to make that clear. So those who want to call, if you have questions for my guest, if you are ANC a member or you're a supporter of Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings, and you have a comment, you have question for my guest, or you have any disagreement, anything you want to contribute, you are more than willing to call right now. Below my name here, you will see the number 605-313-600-4 and enter the code, and then you will get on the conference line, and then we will bring you in as you all join the line. The number is also posted in the Facebook and YouTube live for you to use it and call. I'm going to ask my guest one more question, and then when we come back after he answered that question, we will be taking your calls. So do not go anywhere. Let's take a little water break here. It will just be 43 seconds. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. This conversation is just getting juicier.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I'm Anthony Sia, of course. This is the Hour of Politics, and this is Focus on Liberia. We educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Hey, we pride ourselves as Liberia's best, and that is the argument we hold. You can go and hug the transformer. Now your business. We are the best of Liberia, and we can win that debate any day. Dr. Pearson, as someone deeply engaged in the diaspora, Has Cummings moved beyond just expressing the diaspora's potential to concrete strategy and how to leverage it for private sector investment in a Cummings vision for Liberia?
Thank you, Anthony. Just for information out there, so this month on the 24th, Friday the 24th and the 25th will be in Atlanta. And we'll be having our convention there from the diaspora end. We are reconfiguring the diaspora movement, getting new leadership, and from there start to put strategy together. So I believe strongly that yes, there will be plans in the making. If you are in the Georgia area there, Atlanta rather, please take up time to look up on my profile or look up on my Facebook page or other places. Look out for information out there and be a part of this conversation. Even if you're not ANC member, come to the convention, come and see for yourself. Mr. Cummings will be there, and you can ask him questions for yourself. Now, you see, this is something I want to clarify here. There are people who say that you need to sell Liberia. Look, it's difficult to sell a country that has negative image, especially to investors. Yeah. So Mr. Cummings can have, President Cummings in waiting can have all of the international contact. He can know a lot of people. He can have all the buttons that he may be able to press and encourage people to come to Liberia. If the information coming out of Liberia continue to look as negative as it is, nobody going to be attracted to Liberia. Sorry, it's not going to work. So what I believe President Cummings in waiting does have the potential. He does have the connections, but say to sell Liberia now that President Boaka and his entourage of individuals that are misgoverning the country right now will be able to give us the kind of image we need to sell the country is going to be hard, right? I want to be honest with you. I don't want to be like Eugene Vagon or Hassan Fadika then to come and lie here and tell you, oh, right now, Mr. Cummings can pick up the phone and call one company and say, go to Liberia tomorrow. That would be a lie. The first thing the people look at, oh, you just shot your own citizen in the court 8 rounds and the man got mental illness. Oh, the USA just put out a report. The State Department put out a report charging you for extrajudicial killings, right? For human rights abuses. A lot going on. You are there arm twisting investors in the country. Whoever the investors are, concessions are, everybody trying to get as much as they can get from these concession companies. The people cannot even breathe. No chance to breathe in the business environment. We are not attracting any business people because the country is every single day on edge. Anthony, you can even know the country is on edge when you see our information ministry. The guys man the pulpit. Now I won't call it pulpit. They man the podium. What is be telling us what has been the job created for Liberian people? How many young people has been employed? How many people have been brought out of poverty? Instead, they're causing man costs, causing power costs, causing former president, causing opposition political leaders. How can you carry investment down there? They are discharging tear gas against their own people. They are jacking people businesses along the road, putting it in pickup and cannot be accounted for. They are harassing concessionaires. How can you attract business? So that's why I would say, Liberian people, good money do not like noise. Good money don't like noise. Investment don't like noise. President Cummings in waiting is a man that understands that very well. President Cummings in waiting when he's given an opportunity. President Cummings in waiting will not go to Liberia and go pull LDA around another political party headquarters and go get fake warrant to go cause commotion and then hijack women, naked them in the street and drag them to the central police station. President Cummings will not do that. President Cummings will not see people who can barely find food to eat and still take their water market, their table market, and throw it away in pickup but and cannot account for it or give their business area to Lebanese people. President Cummings in waiting will not do that. President Cummings in waiting will not take Liberian people, small business from them and bring Lebanese people that open store there that cannot compete with, that the Liberian people cannot compete with the Lebanese people. President Cummings in waiting will not do that. the business environment, that's what President Cummings think, and I will tell Liberian people this. Man, what are you? Listen to me. President Cummings is saying this in waiting. He said, if I become president tomorrow, instead of me taking your water market from you and say, don't stay outside the room, I will come ask you and say, how much do you need for me to make you turn into a shop or into a store? That's what President Cummings wants to do. President Cummings in waiting wants to come and say, listen, I see that I want to bring 285 yellow machine in the country, but I will not go to Chinese people to bring it in the country. I will go to Anthony C because he get importer business. I will ask Anthony C, how can government partner with you or Liberian business? Say you importing machine already to import 285 yellow machine, because at the end of the day, the money should stay with the Liberian people. President Cummings in waiting will not want to buy chairs for Liberian school and carry container to China to bring chairs from China. President Cummings will go to local carpenters in Liberia and say, how can we get you money at the MVTC or at other TVL programs? Say, we'll get you money to build chairs for our schools across the country so that you can get money in your pocket and build schools. These are the things. Incentivize Liberians to become owners of the economy. Do not do long-term friendship thing and gentleman agreement thing with foreigners that does not give Liberians the opportunity to thrive in their own country. President Cummings in waiting will not do that.
Thank you. That was the voice of Dr. Clarence R. Pearson, a supporter of Cummings. My man, are you a member of the party now, ANC?
Oh yeah, I'm a member of the party. Full-fledged member of the party. I got my membership card. If you want me to show it to you, I can show it to you.
When did you join?
Since 2023.
Oh, okay. I didn't know this. I thought you were only supporting Mr. Cummings. All right, that's good to know. 2023. That's been a long time. A little bit, about what, 2 years now.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations. Okay, we have a caller. Joe Moyu is on the line. Let me increase the volume here and give Joe the opportunity to contribute. Joe, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Anthony.
All right, Joe, go ahead. The floor is all yours.
All right, thanks for having me. You have me in the situation that Clarence is in. You had me in that same situation 3 years ago.
I know, and I how you sweating, but you held your ground. You always do. Go ahead.
So the problem with Liberia is that we have a tendency of celebrating mediocrity.
Okay.
The other day when Cummings said, look, he had not seen much progress under Boakai. The Boakai, acolytes, they came out attacking him. It's all mediocre things they were attacking for. In Liberia, if a politician go and commission a pump, it's a big thing. They talk about electricity. Come on now. Liberia is a country with an embarrassment of riches. We've got, one of the longest sea coasts on the West African coast. We've got the largest virgin forest in West Africa. We've got, if you name the resource, we have it. And Cummings, he's seeing things from a complete different person. He has an innovative mind, and he believes that once you connect the dots, we can be talking about wealth creation that everybody will benefit from. But these little small things, now we got solar lights and all that. Oh, there's lights on this other part. Those are things that should have been done, 15, 20 years? How old are we now? Almost 200 years or right around there. And those are the little small things we want to celebrate. Come on now. Like I said, we have an embarrassment of riches. It's just that we haven't had the leadership that will be able to connect those dots. And that's something that Cummings from the jump have been saying. A couple of years ago, I think both you and Clarence remember when he was talking about a budget that would be, I think, $1 or $2 billion, and they're attacking for that. I didn't mention all of that. It's because we always think small. We think in small increments. That's why we need somebody like Cummings, somebody with this huge international vision. I got books here where they got chapters. Like I said during my interview 3 years ago, that got chapters focusing on Cummings and what he did for Coca-Cola in Angola. There was a civil war in Angola, and Coca-Cola was afraid to go to Angola. And Cummings said, let's go there, because once those guns are silenced, this country has the resources. They got oil. They got all the minerals. They will be at a place where we will see one of the biggest markets for Coca-Cola in Africa. And guess what he said happened? Guess what he said happened when Angola stopped fighting? You know, the cessation of the civil war. Angola had one of the best, if not the best, economy in Black Africa at that time, and Coca-Cola thrived. And he did the same thing in Somalia. I'm not even talking about Nigeria and those places. So he's somebody that he's a visionary. Those are the people we're looking for in Africa, somebody that can take us to another level. Not somebody that will get focused on, you know, the little mediocre things, you know, oh, well, you know, we got light on this side now, we're going to put light on this side. No, you still have light all over in all 50 countries. Electricity is supposed to be, you know, commonplace. And we're talking about, all, like I said before, you know, you put the country in a situation where we'll be talking about wealth creation, where Liberians can say, okay, we've got a commodities market where, you know, the farmers can come and sell their crops and stuff. That's how you create wealth.
Thank you, John.
And not through these little, you know, house steps that we've been taking the last, I don't know how many years since the ceasefire in Liberia. So that's why I back Cummings, because he sees things with a different person.
Thank you.
And that's why all I can back him.
Yeah, thank you. And Joe, I agree with you. I'm not cutting you off. If you subtract the Judy Bryant 2 years transitional government, we are talking 22 years. 22 years.
Yeah.
And in 22 years, we have not been able to make electricity stable in Monrovia. I'm not talking about the whole country. And I agree with you, because some of these people, you will tell, the other day I saw one of President Bouakar's top surrogate, George Lobo, say, well, look at Cinco. The whole place lit up in the night. You see the light out there. We're talking about providing electricity for your whole country, and we have 22 years. Unity Party had 12 years. You didn't do it, and you tell him a street light in Single. And that man is not even including Brewerville. He's not even including Puebla. He's boasting of street light being in Cinco around the president place, and that's what we're supposed to celebrate. He counted Grand Cru out. He counted all the other countries. They don't matter. We should celebrate that. And that's why sometimes I look at these people and say, what are you doing?
Celebrate our mediocrity.
Anyway, thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. I appreciate that.
All right. Bye.
All right. Well, Dr. Pearson, I am back with you. It has been an engaging conversation. And this is a conversation we're going to continue to have. The part of the question I was asking, Mr. Cummings, no one questions his credentials and what he's been able to deliver in other countries, other African countries, in America. So we think he can do it in Liberia. But I think that people want to see, you know, that happening in Liberia, right? And I was talking about the diaspora. You know, there are a lot of diasporans, a lot of diaspora Liberians here, ANC in particular. I mean, is Mr. Cummings encouraging these people to go to Liberia and invest? You know, maybe when they see that, say, okay, look, all the people that I'm bringing here, maybe we can. I mean, I don't know.
So thank you, Anthony. So I have this insane idea, right? Where sometimes I put in our chat group and thing, and then my party chairman, Councilor Guwese, Chairman Guwese, man, that's a good idea, whatever the case is. And some people message me. You know, where I feel that Liberia, where it is now, political party, the ANC, and hopeful like President Alexander Cummings in waiting should start to do some pilot projects in Liberia that will portray what you want to see in the future, right? But I want it to be done in a way that it would be a form of sustainable investment. Let me give the example. So say we criticizing the poor education system in Liberia, right? Say University of Liberia. So say ANC youth wing is honored to have Alexander Cummings Foundation or ANC as a political party build a university, right? And bring it up to standard that will mirror what we want to see in Liberia. Where the ANC youth and young people can benefit from and can become a reference point. Not free, not 100% free, but with some level of service charge that can make it sustainable, if you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Also, take for instance, probably decide to get involved in agriculture at an industrial scale where either the party or the foundation, whatever the case, or a mix of the two, or private investment, but linked to ANC some way that we can refer it to, that has commercial value of rice production, right? Commercial value of rice production that will mirror what we would say, this is what the party could do if we were given a chance to govern, right? What we see, you see us bagging rice and selling rice across the country. And, you know, take that further, move a step further, legitimately carry on a hydroelectric project, if that is possible, by talking to investors on the outside, right? Like you mentioned earlier, and maybe go in Bon County there, get on under the Cavalry River St. John, which when they got there, build a mini, they have a mini dam that they already prospected for in those areas, build a mini dam somewhere in the country there, produce electricity, or maybe do a solar farm, produce electricity on a commercial level. But at least these are things you can point to and say, look, these are things that the party is capable of doing if it has the him of power. But at the same time, these investments are sustainable in themselves because they are yielding some income for the party and for as a show off for political capital. Let me take it another step further. Maybe go around building low-cost housing estates for people in rural communities, right? So go
maybe the World Trade Center, right?
Right. Yeah,
they evicted the guys.
Yeah,
and I mean that is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, so it's an opportunity.
And Liberian with money build a place, bring those guys in, build cubicle, and say, hey, for each cubicle you paid $25, that can pay for that building. You know, maybe $200,000 US might be spent. It can pay for it in 10 to 15 years.
Anthony, those guys are not in that place. They were not in there for free. Everybody sitting there were paying a fee. Yeah, and they're paying taxes. The revenue guys will come in the building, walk around, collect the taxes that you're supposed to pay, and, you know, against your business that you're doing there. So it was not for free. So even if ANC had a building that they put up or bought, because a lot of buildings on for sale now in Central Monrovia, other parts, Cinco and things, people got buildings for sale. They tell you 100,000, 75,000 and stuff. So maybe you get a property or you lease it, whatever the case. Everybody come here and do your business, and you pay for your spot that you're doing it in. It becomes a sustainable income. But at least you're showing signs of what you can do. So I agree with you on that, right? And I have that in my, like I was mentioning, low housing estates. People say Cummings is not new in the rural community. Oh, of course, okay. So what if I went Saston and I went to this village, they get 10 houses in the village. I change it from 10 mud and thatch house to 10 simple, low investment cost housing. Do you know you can build that black house mud to mud and you plaster it nicely on a solid foundation with zinc over it, and everything inside it will be a decent property?
But the learning center built by Leo Johnson, that they're black in use.
Right. So there are so many opportunities, and you know, I think I did a document and I sent it to my political leader some time back, and I'm still looking to see if he can resuscitate that. I'm one of those, you know me, I like writing business, right? So I just don't talk. Majority when you hear me talking, they already got it on paper, right? So these are some of the things I've been talking about, and I think the party should look that way, because take your leaving, political party needs to graduate from depending on one man's pocket And I think my political leader, President Alexander Cummings, in waiting, has said this. His family money cannot be the resources that the party is depending on only. But I think one way he can graduate from that pocket to a sustainable political process, even if he's no longer a political leader, just maybe a party stalwart, a party executive, a party advisor, is to invest in the party in a way that we get sustainable investment that will use dividend, that will serve as a political reference capital and serve as an income generating institution for our young people and for the party as a whole.
Thank you. I have a caller here. Caller, your name and where you joining us from?
Yeah, my name is Joe Marlon McStewart.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, first and foremost, I should compliment you, for trying to make the case of Liberia. But one thing that crosses my mind, that we don't talk about most often, is that Liberians are, economically enslaved, an indication that the entire country, economy is in the hands of, some so-called, foreigners, and they're sitting on the, they grab it like when, they usually see the leopard grab it, the deer, that's how the Liberian economy is. And Liberians are complacent with that, complacent with that in the sense that they prefer economy, they prefer a political freedom than economic freedom. How many politicians you see campaigning on how do we take back the economy from the hands of the Lebanese, from the hands of the poor Indian people that come from, that country and come in Liberia, and then in the twinkle of an eye, you see, they're making big businesses and paying less taxes. So you see, it's an issue that we have to, really study. We have to really look at clearly. But all we want to do, celebrate political freedom. So it's an issue that, we have to look at, Anthony. Maybe I may not be making sense. But, Anthony, listen to me, man. You can't be having your horse, a different person feeding you, then you say you want to talk. What are you talking about? Look at the rest they put importing. What good is doing for us? Look at the importation. Make an assessment and make an analysis on it. What good is doing for us? They put importing the rice, then they send the rice, they're getting $2 profit on it. And we got big foreign orders. How many of the Nabi enterprises they got how you call it? They got businesses in Grand Crew, they got businesses in Maryland. You live in the United States. Most of the businesses you see around, like Chick-fil-A. When you see Chick-fil-A, you see it in another community. You understand me? So it's kind of like it makes me feel I don't know, my words are sometimes very inadequate to describe the kind of economic situation Liberia is. You go to Liberia, the Lebanese are back all the places.
Thank you.
Then you talking about politics. You understand me?
I understand you, and you are making sense.
There was no store in Singapore. But the thing is, buy all the places there, and Liberian people prefer to, sell those places to Lebanese people, and then they for 100 years, for 90 years, for 70 years, and then they sit down. Then it depends on the Liberian diaspora start taking. When they elect Lucas leaders, they elect, leader with mediocrity. When they elect it, then they depend on their brothers and sisters in the diaspora to feed them.
Thank you.
So you see, I just took note of that, maybe if I make sense, but if I don't make sense,
you make sense. Basically what you are saying is we need to take ownership of our own economy. All right. And our leaders need to craft policy that will make that possible and easier for Liberians, to take ownership of their own economy, because that's the only way we have control. Economic power is a real power. Economic power is a real power. So you make a lot of sense. And thank you so very much for your contribution. Clarence, we have to go. Let me get your closing.
Look, Mr. Sia, thank you for having me tonight, and I thank the viewers out there and the listeners for this show. Thanks for sharing the show. And let me say this: look, we cannot continue to live on expectations and promises. We cannot continue to allow Liberia to be led on the basis of lies and propaganda, right? It's about time to fix that country. It's a time to yield results. And I feel President Cummings, President Alexander Cummings in waiting is the right candidate for this task because he has track record of results that he has delivered in the corporate world. And when we say corporate world, mean a man did business and he saw profit. And right now, Liberia is a big form of business. We're making product, but we're not making profit. Our iron ore not making profit for us. Our diamond not making profit for us. Our gold not making profit for us. Our rubber not making profit for us. And everything that we have to sell as a country is not making profit for the ordinary people to eat from it. So we need this man who has done business before, who has led big businesses before on the basis of proper planning, good management, without any corruption scandal behind him. A man who loves his country and wants to give back to his people, no matter how they treat him. He still come back and say, listen, my people, we need to fix this country. And if you have a mechanic problem, you can bring carpenter to fix the problem. If you have a shoe problem, you can bring doctor to come sew a shoe. When you have computer problem, you cannot bring a builder to come fix the computer. You need a businessman to solve this business problem. Liberia is a business problem. Liberia is an economic problem. Liberia needs to translate. Liberia needs to transform its natural resources and opportunities into profit. Liberia needs to take the young people and transform them into profit for the future. Liberia needs to take our mothers them on the wayside selling le coconut, le gari, le slipper, le better boy and transform the market into something that they will say tomorrow and say, I got a store, I got a shop. I'm not just, nobody just throw my wheelbarrow from on the road. But President Cummings in waiting, took my wheelbarrow and carry me straight to a shop and say, yeah, it's where you can sit and you can sell. Mr. Cummings came and took our young people from a dilapidated LU building that had not been painted since President Booker became president. His house has been fixed. He ride a new car. All government officials got a new car. But LU, where I graduated from, LU still looking ugly, looking broken down. President Booker ride a $1.2 million car, went to LU campus, followed by Representative Ryan for the $5,000 car, went to LU campus to open a PhD program. And then I got on my phone and I went live and I said, President Booker, leave the program, that LU program you in, leave that PhD program you launching. Go use the bathroom right behind the auditorium. That auditorium you said in, go use the bathroom. President Booker could not go use that bathroom. Why? Because the bathroom is not conditioned for public use. Our children still peeping behind the bathroom. Our girls cannot even go in the bathroom. President Booker was running PhD program at LU when they don't even have a proper bathroom. When the graduate program building for master's program is sitting down there, it's so dirty, you see more all over the building. President Booker inside, you tell him go stay inside there for 2 days, he will not stay there. But the building looking like that, they pass by it every single day. That will not be President Alexander Cummings in waiting. He has the heart for the country. He has the mind for the country. He has the technical know-how to deliver results, not promises, results. And Mr. CA, I want to say Alexander Cummings in waiting, my president in waiting, our Liberian people, let us not buy lies. Let us buy truth. Lies are easy to sell. Truth is hard to sell. That's why we're taking our time to sell it between now and 2029. Do not follow popularity. Do not follow tribal line only. Vote tomorrow so that when you go back home, food will be on your table. When you go back home, your children can go to school. When you go back home, you're able to live in a decent house. When you go back home, you got electricity. When you go back home, you got running water. As far as from Cape Mount to Maryland County, from Nimba down all the way to Lower Montserrat County, Liberia needs to develop, and small thinking will not develop Liberia. Thank you, Mr. CA.
Dr. Pearson, thank you for sharing your insights and convictions. Whether one agrees or disagrees, the conversation reminds us that Liberia's future depends on informed debate, active citizenship, and visionary leadership. To our viewers, stay engaged. Let's ask the questions that we need to ask. Let us demand more and bold action and leadership from all our leaders. And above all, be involved with clarity and conscience. This has been the Hour of Politics with me, Anthony C, here at Focus on Liberia. Until we meet again, stay focused. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye. We will close with our song that says, "We are indeed all Liberians." My brother, thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome, sir.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. United are we one. Liberia, oh. United are we one. Liberia, be Liberia. Oh, Liberia.